The Sleeping Hero Archetype. The sleeping hero archetype represents the militant messianic tradition of regality as an undercurrent within Mother Europa. Since every slight against perfect tradition is a deviation and perversion, we need a constant reference point to the harmony of the higher order. There are many worthy candidates for the perfect model of the archetype, all of which have been transcribed into this living legend, from the historical Arthur to Charlemagne, Barbarossa and Matthias Corvinus. These given candidates are of secondary importance to the phenomenon of the solar archetype of the transcendent king that will return one day to make straight all that is crooked under the sun, and to mend the mendering spirits into a pointed arrow aimed at the ultimate target of destiny. And so I begin my short little series on the avatar, Kalki, the returning king. The God Avatar. Today's video will be the introduction to a short series of articles dealing with the God Avatar, the sleeping king, the returning king, the coming hero or messiah, if you will. He goes by many names: Kalki, Vidar, the Hooded One, among others. Let's first begin with defining what an avatar is. Avatar is Sanskrit. In Indian mythology, it means to descend, i.e. a god descending down to earth, and manifest, incarnate, in physical, usually human form. The word is used mainly regarding Vishnu's 10 incarnations. Vishnu is the preserver and sustainer of life, balancing the processes of creation and destruction. Vishnu is the upholder and preserver of order, dealing with everything. Within him there exist all good and evil, big and small, etc., and he balances all the opposites. His main task is to keep the balance between the evil and the good forces of cosmos. When evil takes over, Vishnu descends to earth in human or bestial form to restore order. These God incarnations, descended gods manifesting themselves within humans, is what is known as avatars. Vishnu's 10 incarnations are Matsya, the first of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. He came first as a fish and showed himself at a major flood to warn mankind. Kurma is the second of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. He came as a turtle to save precious treasures from getting swayed by the flood. Varasha is the third of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. He came as a wild boar and lifted the earth out of the flooding. Narasimhar is the fourth of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. He came as a lion and defeated evil spirits and demons. Vamana is the fifth of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. He came as a dwarf and defeated the evil spirits and demons. Parasurama is the sixth of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. He destroyed the Kshatriya tribe, warriors which threatened to take power over the world. Next is Rama, who is the seventh of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. He was a noble hero who fought against the evil in the world. He represents and personifies virtue. Then came Krishna, who is the eighth of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. He is both a manifestation of Vishnu and a god in himself. He is the most popular Hindu god. He appears in many myths and stories and is then depicted both as a fighter, lover, and as the king. Then there came Buddha. Buddha, who is the ninth of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. Buddha means the enlightened. He is Gautama, Buddhism's founder. Then, my friends, we're finally at number 10. But this avatar has yet to present himself. Kalki is the 10th of the Hindu god Vishnu's 10 avatars. He saves mankind from the Kali Yuga. He is the destroyer of Kali Yuga. He is the invincible one, the bringer of order of cosmos. And he has not yet arrived. He is the sleeping king, yet to awake. Kalki is the sleeping king, yet to arrive, yet to be incarnated, yet to awake. The monarch is a deep-seated human archetype, a symbol of the solar principle. Bearing this in mind, perhaps it is no great surprise that the forces behind the modern world are so keen to undermine monarchy whenever and wherever they can. Monarchy is also a natural and organic form of government, understood intuitively by individuals of widely varying backgrounds and intelligence. Legitimacy is conferred from above, the divine, rather than from below, the people. But monarchy is part of the natural order and is worlds away from an unnatural system of government imposed on a submissive population. The monarch is the very symbol and guarantee of his people's liberty and is there to serve rather than to rule. This function finds mythological expression in the tales of King Arthur and his knights, where we also find a legend common to many nations and cultures, that of the sleeping king, destined to awaken at his country's hour of need. True myth can never die, and even if history moves away from it for a while, it continues its life underground and in exile. The king is sleeping, but he is not dead. The king rests for his greatest adventure yet to come, to return and uphold order, the order of the cosmos, and to end the Kali Yuga. Kalki the destroyer, Kalki the avenger, the avatar of wrath. Kalki comes from the word kalka, which means dirt, filth, or foulness, and hence denotes the destroyer of foulness, destroyer of confusion, destroyer of darkness, or annihilator of ignorance. The Agni Purana explains that when the non-Aryans, who pose as kings, begin devouring men who appear righteous and feed on human beings, Kalki, as the son of Vishnuyasha and Yajnavalkya, as his priest and teacher, will destroy these non-Aryans with his weapons. He will establish moral law in the form of the fourfold Varnas, or the suitable organization of society in 4 classes. After that, people will return to the path of righteousness. The Vishnu Purana explains that he will be born in the family of Vishnuyasha, an eminent Brahmana of Shambhala village, as Kalki, endowed with 8 superhuman faculties. By his irresistible might, he will destroy all the mlekas and thieves, and all whose minds are devoted to iniquity. He will re-establish righteousness upon earth, and the minds of those who live at the end of the Kali Yuga shall be awakened, and shall be as clear as crystals. The men who are thus changed by virtue of that peculiar time shall be as the seeds of human beings, and shall give birth to a race who will follow the laws of the Krita age, or Satya Yuga, the age of purity. As it is said, when the sun and moon and the lunar asterism Tisha and the planet Jupiter are in one mansion, the Krita age shall return. The Padma Purana relates that Lord Kalki will end the age of Kali and will kill all the wicked Mlekas, Mlekas meaning the non-Aryan peoples, and thus destroy the bad condition of the world. He will gather all of the distinguished Brahmanas and will propound the highest truth. He will know all the ways of life that have perished, and will remove the prolonged hunger of the genuine Brahmanas and the pious. He will be the only ruler of the world that cannot be controlled, and will be the banner of victory and adorable to the world. The Srimad Bhagavatam states, at the end of Kali Yuga, when there exist no topics on the subject of God, even at the residences of so-called saints and respectable gentlemen of the three higher castes, and when the power of government is transferred to the hands of ministers elected from the low-born Shudra class, or those less than them, and when nothing is known of the techniques of sacrifice even by word, at that time the Lord will appear as the supreme Shastasur. It further describes Lord Kalki's activities as follows. Lord Kalki, the Lord of the universe, will mount his swift white horse Devadatta, and sword in hand travel over the earth, exhibiting his 8 mystic opulences and 8 special qualities of Godhead. Displaying his unequaled effulgence and riding with great speed, he will kill by the millions those thieves who have dared dress as kings. He will be one to whom the power to change the destiny of the world will be given. It states the evil family of the demon Kali will spring from the back of Brahma. They will descend to earth and cause mankind to turn towards depravity. When man stops offering yagna to the gods, Vishnu himself will descend to earth to rid the world of evil. As a young man, he will be mentored in the arts of war by Parashurama, the 6th incarnation of Vishnu. He will then set out across the world, battling evil kings and false prophets. He finally defeats Kali and brings about the Satya Yuga. Having completed his mission, he will assume his 4-armed form and return to heaven as Vishnu. Lord Kalki will come as the Shastasur, or warrior. By this time, the planet will be filled with people who will be unable to understand logical conversations. They will be too slow-minded and dull-witted, not capable of being taught much, especially in the way of high philosophy and regarding the purpose of life. They will not know what they need to do or how to live, and they certainly will be unable to change their ways. Therefore, Lord Kalki does not come to teach, but simply to chastise, punish, and cleanse the planet.